Peace and love, family. Thank you for coming through the Alchemy Temple to be with us on tonight. Alchemy Temple After Dark. This is Tantric Tuesday with your hostess, Goddess Jamila, and we have a very special guest, and you know who he is. Special to most of us, the founder of Alchemy Temple, Nuaso Mayebe. So tonight with Tantric Tuesday, we're talking about, are you caught in a web of love or is it lust? Are you caught in the web of love or is it lust? And some of you are saying, I ain't caught in nothing in neither one of them. I'm not in love. I'm not in nothing. I'm not doing anything, right? So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to get down to the nitty gritty of these things and how they occur. We all grown, you know, we put the babies to bed, and we're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk, and we're going to build, okay? So let's begin to think about, let's listen to this track. The music is not mine. The music doesn't belong to none of us, and we're going to listen to this music play and feel these vibes as you come into the cipher, okay? Thank you again for your patience. Thank you for staying up with us tonight and going into this Tantric Tuesday, the day for Inanna. Inanna is going to come out and she's going to continue to speak to us and ride with us and vibe with us. We all know who Inanna is. Is that correct? We know who that is. So we're going to have a good time tonight. Y'all listen to the music. And we're going to have a good time. Okay? So, again, caught in the web of love or is it lust? Are you caught in a web of love or is it lust? Yes. Peace, 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 Drina. How are you? Peace and love, Drina in the building. Peace and love. So y'all can hear the music, right? Okay. Caught in the web of love. Is it lust? Are we really caught in the web of love? Do we know what we caught in? Do we have an understanding of the difference between the two? You know, do we think we in love and the other person don't know that they're supposed to be loving us? Is it lust or could it be infatuation? Because that feels like love, right? I mean, you could be looking at somebody and you can think that, man, oh my goodness, I love them because their lips look so nice to me. I love them because you know what? We did the damn thing and they put it on me. So I'm in love now. Are you in love? Are you caught in the web? You caught in the web. When you get caught in the web, you can't do anything. You can't move. You just stuck. You know, and you just laying there for the prey, for the kill, right? You can't move. You caught in the web. We know how it is when we walking somewhere and we get the spider web lands on us and you start immediately trying to take that off of us. You know, man, I got to get this web off of me. This web is, oh my goodness, it's spider web. And then if, you know, at first you're trying to get the spider web off of you and then immediately you start thinking the spider must not be that far away, right? The spider got to be somewhere near this spider web. Right? So think about that. What aspect are you up in? Are you caught in the web? Are you trying to get the web off of you? Are you sitting there willingly? Like, take me, I'm yours? And if so, are you in love? Is it lust? Or is it infatuation? Do you have an understanding of what's going on with you and the other person that you're supposed to be in love with, in lust with? Do both of y'all know what time it is, or just you, or just them? You know, are we beginning to stalk? Are we beginning to state claims and this haven't been discussed? Let's talk about what happens. What happens when these chemicals begin to mix? You know, what happens when we come together sexually, right? What happens? I want to know how y'all feeling. I want to know why it's so hard to let go if you decide to move on. What's bonding you together with somebody? Why you can't get them out of your mind? What's happening? I mean, you be like, man, I know they're not good for me. But you just go, you just slip into this like trance state, and you be like, I just want to feel them. I just want to talk to them. I just want to hear them again. Oh my goodness, I can smell their breath. I can feel it on my skin. Oh my goodness, I'm getting hot just thinking about this person. I don't know what it is. What's that about? What's happening? Are we doing some magic to pull people close to us and we don't really know what we're doing? Are we doing all these love spells and come back to me spells and I'm in love with you spells? And what are we doing? I want to know what's going on. What are we doing? Do we know what we're doing? Are we activating this thing and we don't even know what we tapping into? Are you caught in the web because of you were not knowledgeable of what you were doing? You were ignorant to the fact of how serious the magic is that you were doing. You didn't realize that by you having sexual intercourse with a person alone can cause some things to take place. Different coding, different DNA happens, right? You get, and then some of us include blood. Talk to me now. Some of us include blood, and then some of us doing this, and we having intercourse, and people bleeding, and we act like we don't know what's going on. We act like I don't know what's happening. Why I feel this way about this person. Why I feel so strongly connected to her. And we having sexual intercourse, and it involves blood, the ritual of the act itself. The ritual of orgasmic pleasure. And when we get to that point and we're or in the orgasmic state of lovemaking, and all of these juices flowing, including the juice of the primary juice, which is, well, not juice, but it's blood. What are we doing? Are we secure in what we're doing? Do we understand and understand the ins and outs of what we're doing? Talk to me, family. I want to know. Talk to me. I want to know if you know what's going on. I want to know. Why are you feeling like this? You think people got a spell on you? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's just you. Again, are you caught in the web? I mean, I know I've been caught in some webs.
No.
I know, Crystal, right? It is amazing. Sex is amazing, but what makes it amazing? What makes it go from one extreme to the next extreme? What makes it go from one point to the next point? What make it you feel so good and then you want to kill somebody? What happens? What about the people that libido is not that high? They don't care about doing it. They don't even want to do it. You said which sex is hypnotic? Any sex is hypnotic, right? You go into a trance. You're hypnotized during the whole act of it. So what happens? So I want to know what happens, right? Exactly, Sandra. Peace to the goddesses and gods in the building. You start doing things. You become, your life force immediately comes in the front, and some of us don't even know. Some of us, let's be real, we ain't caught in nothing, but because we so boring during the whole act of it. We boring. We just lay there like a corpse, like we already dead, like we already transitioned, not participating. And then you wonder why, right, the intertwining of spirits. Then you wonder why, you're not giving up the goods. You wonder why he not around or she not around. Or you wonder why they stepping out and it could possibly be somebody. You can't possibly expect people to stay with you because you made a word to you made a proclamation to this person with your mouth and you not giving up the goods. Come on, y'all. You forfeit the goods as soon as you say, I'm not going to do it just because I don't want to do it. Fuck this nigga. Excuse me. Forget him. You know what I mean? As soon as you forget him, forget her. I ain't giving it up. To me, that's forfeiting it. That's forfeiting the whole contract. Because how can you not satisfy one of the chakras that we have? That's true. Drain a piece to you You know, it depends, but it'll be like that, right? Are we being selfish? Is it about us? Are we, or what? Hey, family, do you hear me echoing? Is that echo coming from me? Let me know. I want to know if I'm echoing. Am I echoing? Can y'all tell me if I'm echoing, please? Am I echoing, family? Is there an echo? So not now, Chari, not now. You don't hear one now with me? Can you share this, please, and tag me in it? Share this video and tag me in it, please. Thank you while we work out the King's family, but I want you to begin to think about what I'm talking to you about. I want to know if the intention is to be caught up in the web or to get someone caught up in the web. Is it because you lust and you just want to do what you want to do? And if you just want to do what you want to do, some of us say feed, some of us say, we need to receive, we feeling our libido is through the roof and we feel in a certain type of way. So we do everything to keep this person, to catch this person so they won't go anywhere. Thank you, Chari. I want to know, are you keeping it 100 with yourself and keeping it 100 with the person that you're dealing with? Talk to me. True. I mean, see, before we get to the part of giving to your partner, because that's a good thing, we got to give and we got to receive. It's an energy exchange going on. We need to be clear on what we're doing. They telling me they don't hear an echo, admin. They telling me they don't hear an echo from me. Okay, so again, family, when we get to the part where we decide, we make a decision. Sometimes we meet somebody and we meet somebody somewhere and we decide that we're going to have this, this one-time thing. Do we understand that clearly, that that's what we're doing? Sometimes we get with some people and we just, what? Our intention is just to know, we're going to feel a desire that we haven't right now. Are we making that clear that that's what we're doing? Some people you get with don't like oral sex. And you don't know that, are we making it known that, I don't get down like that? Are we going into this blindly, receiving, but not giving? So the energy exchange starts in the mind before the behind, right? Exactly, Chari, your energy will be off before we get to the behind. But sometimes we don't have time to feel the mind if we in the moment of our desires. If we in the moment of our desires, all you want to do is you licking your lips, they looking like a piece of, I'm gonna say a mango because I love mangoes. They look like a mango, They look like a nice mango. And you just want to eat that mango up. You just want to devour that mango. You want to eat that mango up. And you see, sometimes when you in a state where you want to devour the mango, you don't care what they want to do, because right now you're going to receive just by giving to this, you eating this mango and you chewing this mango and you sucking on this mango, So you flowing with that, and you just, you be all over them, and you doing stuff, and you doing things. And then this flow is there, Chari, just like you're stating, the flow is there, right? But then we wake up the next day and you be like, Jane, they really put it on me. You like, man, I want that to be my man. I want that to be my woman. But do they know that? Do they know that? Family, do they know that you claiming them? Do they know that you claiming them? So we're going to talk to Nuaso Maibe, and we're going to get some insight. When we feeling all this, our libido is high. And we thinking about this person throughout the day. Yes. And we have done things with them. Sometimes we haven't done anything with them. Sometimes we just had a conversation and it already started. You can imagine what's going on. You could just see it. Some of us get to the cosmos and we doing it in the cosmos, right? Before we even meet them in the flesh. Mm-hmm. That's that good. That's that good, right?
Yes. No doubt. So I just want to jump right into the conversation. Peace and love, everybody in the building. All right. One thing I do want to say is this, what you're talking about, Ja, you breaking down a whole lot of real good points. One of the most important things that you talked about is the principle. You just basically described the way that the principle is and the way that it moves. Okay, the principle of life force, the life force principle, which is self-existing, prolong. It lives on its own. It prolongs itself. It lives, it creates itself, it travels, and it has its own intelligence in order for it to travel from the different organs in the body to the sex center. That's the reason why you say you're horny, right? Because the horniness is the totality of one thing. So we're talking about Tantra in particular, right? So Tantra, if you say Tantra or Tantric, the IC in Tantric, it basically, in the West, it lets you denote a spiritual aspect of a certain way of thinking, a certain way of being, right? So Tantra, meaning expansion, to expand, meaning the whole conversation, right? So the sense that this modern world knows of mantras and the different is through the different sutras, right? So the sutras being the isolated text of the different individual conversations or the different positions. You say, hey, I love the little bubble on the end of the small of your back. Like, I love that little bubble. I love you love the little certain intricacies of, the one that you look at. You love the frame. You love all of those different things, right? You love the voice, the smell. You love the way this person is, right? You love all those things, right? That is individual. Those are individual like things that you like, right? Those would be the sutras. And so you're familiar with the Kama Sutra. The Kama Sutra, which is one particular group of sutras, which deals with the erotic arts, the art of love, the erotic arts, right? So you start getting into the different science of sex. You start getting into the different positions. And now you have deities represented in these different, symbology, the different symbolic forms. You have deities. These are deities shown in copulation. They're deities doing that. Spiritual beings that have been represented during the copulation act. So that's the reason why they try to make you think that you shouldn't be activated in sex, or you shouldn't have sex. See, this is the act of creation, So your sex exists to expand itself. In order to expand into what? How do you expand? You expand into a full awareness. That's what it is. Remember, you have one side that is just an individual slice, like, yo, I like the way this person looks, or I like the way this person gets down. Those are just slices into the whole picture. But then you have the science of it. And the science of it is the whole thing. That's the Tantra. The Tantra is the energy of expansion. And see, one interesting fact is that it is a matriarchal system. It's the one system, and I've traveled the world, and I've traveled through pretty much every, you can't name a basic, not to say that I study every single religion, but I followed under all the real shit, right? And number one, every single religion abuses women. All right, I'm just gonna say it. They all abuse women, except for Tantra. Tantra is the only one that I've ever found that doesn't really do that. It allows you to see the growth process of the matriarchal system, which we know that all of the most powerful dynasties that were ruled by men were all matriarchal dynasties. Okay, and we're talking about tribal, Native American. We're talking about a lot of the African and a lot of the, dealing just real slice of a lot of the African history. A lot of that happened on American soil. So one of the biggest lies is that so many Africans came from Africa to America. There has always been just this is just the same lie that's going on with Antarctica. The lie that there were no people in America except for the discovery and a few slice of individual tribes of so-called Indians that were here. You have to understand it was way more than they're giving account for until you dig a little bit further. Plus, on top of that, you have not that many Africans coming over here in slavery in the first place. The whole entire transatlantic slave trade is being exaggerated, and the lie has been told that, and it's caught you into the mix right here. But that's not what I'm talking. That's not the point that we're going into right now. Okay, the main point has to do with the full embodiment of the sexual energy all the time, right? So if you don't embody that full sexual energy, that means that you'll be in full lust, which is no problem with being in lust, because people always want to front on lust, like lust is bad, like you don't want to be having lust for a person when lust what makes you powerful. Lust gives you strength. It makes you strong. Lust, when you use it right. But see, if you're out of balance and you're using lust in a situation where that's all you are is lustful, it's easy for you to be out of control. And then when you're out of control, it's easier for you to be controlled. But there's no problem, because lust, love, these two things can both be used for good or evil. You can take love, someone can love you, and you can drag them. You can treat them like dirt, right? All because they love you, they'll keep letting you do it. Right. So it can be a defining type of moment, right? Where you feel a defining type of moment where you feel like you need to make a different type of decision. If you're in love, you're blinded. You lose all opportunity. The same thing as you do when you're in lust. You lose all opportunity of your logic and of your reason and of your thinking. As far as thinking, logic and all of that, all that reason and everything, it goes out the window. And the only thing that exists is right now in the moment. And that's the reason why, in that moment of creation, that's the reason why, the sexual energy has been diminished all the way down. It's even to the point now that they're letting young children have sex early, right? I mean, from our age and because really we was probably some of the youngest cats, and maybe a little bit, maybe the generation before us. But, the babies, the Generation X and around there at that time, a lot of them were having sex early. And anyway, what happened with having sex too early, with a whole generation of having sex too early, you have a lot of people not understand, themselves and the way their energy works. But at the same time, they're building up all the sexual energy. So what it used to be, because if you think about the energy like this, the sexual energy was divided up. Some of it was written, some of it was spoken. The sutras were written codes, you know, slithers of information to that could be built on everything. So you had different cultures all over the world. You had Hindu, you had Buddhism, right? You had all these different slithers of different of the Dravidian sects. The Dravidian sects are really Africans in India. Okay, if you don't know who the Dravidians are African people. They're African race. This is where they trace back Father Abraham and all of them. But you know, and then off of Abraham, you know, you get they get everything. The Vatican is based everything on that information right there. And we know that this is the land of Ur. We know that was in what they call now Babylon area, but that was all of that was Africa. That whole thing was Africa. Okay, so if you understand lust and what lust represents, if you have love, but your love is no lust involved, guess what's going to happen? Your love is going to burn out. It's going to be whack love. You know what I'm saying? Lust is what gives you power. If you just have this love can get smacked around. Love can get punched in the stomach and feel like it's going to get back up, but doesn't have that oomph, and get punched in the jaw right after it got hit in the stomach. That's what love would do. Love is strong, but it needs a little bit of dirt with it. Lust is when you see love is sometimes you might reason irrationally with love, and you need love. You need a balance of love and lust. You need a balance of love and lust. But if you operate in lust by itself, you will always be creating whatever frequency that you're on. Now, if you operate in love by itself, now see, the difference is this: love, generally, the way that we accept love to be, what we accept love to be, that frequency of thought always makes you attract the opposite of what you're asking for, right? So anytime, basically, you have this love thing, which is really like a dark thing. It's really the other way around. Like, it's been flip-flop, where you think that now lust is something bad and love is something good. It's really the opposite, because see, the core of love is ownership, right? It means ownership, right? Basically, I love you. Who the fuck is he? Where are you going? What time are you? You know what I'm saying? That's what love can make you do. Possessive. Okay. Right. And there's different degrees of that. Everybody's not going to be doing it the exact same way. Some people are going to have different degrees. So, you know, you have different reactions that are going to come with love. And lust, on the other hand, lust is all about the other person. It's not about taking you from me. Lust puts you into the other person. Lust connects you into the other. It's a bridge gapper. It's a bridge gapper, lust, because you don't want any separation between you and that person at all.
True.
See, love lasts a little bit longer. Lust expires quicker. See, that's the thing about it. You can get more done with the night. If both of y'all have that strong lustful energy, you know, love has a lot of restrictions around it. Love has a whole lot of restrictions around it. Lust is free. It doesn't care about all that shit. Lust does not care. Lust is like, yo, whatever. Love has got rules. Love says, oh, I can't do that because, you know. Lust is like, yo, what's popping? Well, lust is going to do whatever it wants to do. That is that other energy. And see, when we call things dark, we have to get out of the habit of calling things dark and representing them as if they're evil, or as if they're evil. You see what I'm saying? Lust is that darker energy. You see, when we say dark, we have to understand dark is the origin. Everything comes from dark. Light comes from dark. But it's not a problem. They're not separate in the sense of we're against each other. Light and darkness are together. It's only the perception of people that put love and lust, light and darkness away from each other.
So, beloved family, this is Tantric Tuesdays, and we're talking about caught in the web of love, or is it lust? So, I want to talk about love being restricting, constricting, and lust being free. That's indeed true, right? Think about it. It's true. You lust after someone, you really want them really bad. You always want them, right? You always want them. You in love with somebody, and that's all you are, in love with them. There is no lust. Something is missing, and people go out to find the lust, right? When lust expires, and people say, you know what, I'm ready for some love. So let's bridge the gap. So say, I meet this person. And, immediately when I meet them, initially, I'm seeing them and I'm starting to feel some lust for them, right? I'm starting to want them, man. Every time I see him, every time I see this person, I lick my lips and I'm having dreams and visions of them being around me, and I'm being around them and them feeling me and they touching me. Every time we talk to each other, we being on webcam, we doing the damn thing on webcam, right? Y'all know what we do. We be on the camera and we feed in the lust, right? We feed in the lust, right? Okay? We haven't talked about being in love yet, and that hasn't even entered what we're doing, but we feed in the lust that we feeling, and then we can't wait till we meet this person, right? So we're going to keep this on the positive side. So when we meet this person, and you get around this person, or you already met, but you start going on dates, you start being around each other. So you say, man, not only do I want to eat them alive, I want to ravish them. I'm lusting, boy. Woo! Every time I see them, I'm feeling, I get hot. But I get around them and I find out that they dope. Oh my goodness, they dope. They dope. They cool. They everything. I know I got some bad behind children, and they loving my bad behind children. They dope. They house clean. They cool. You like, man, you know what? You might have got a plate, and you love the cooking. So now love starts to pop up in your mind like, whoa, oh man, Then you unite with this person and y'all come together. The copulation already happening at a mind, but now y'all come together, right? And then you feeling this person. Love is there. Lust is there. Y'all going at it. You set up your room. You got your candles going, your music going. You get into the trance state of what you're doing, right? So you perform this act of sex, right? You perform this huge ritual that's been going on since time, right? Since time as we know it. You perform this ritual that happens in the universe 24/7 from all walks of life, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, right? You perform this act with your human self in this vessel with this person who you starting to feel, oh, I can't wait to see them, right? So y'all do this. Y'all do it, and it's good, man. It's good to you. It's good to your soul. The term where they say my soul was snatched. I don't personally want to snatch soul. I want you to keep it because I want you to keep, giving me what I need. So I'll need you to keep your soul because I'm gonna need to borrow it some more. So you do it. You perform this act or this ritual that's happening around us 24/7. You perform it with this person who you did, who you feeling. Fail. In love, right? So what happens? You know what happens? We don't balance it. We don't do anything to keep it activated. We know that as human to human, Yeah, I'm loving you because of how you make me feel. You loving each other because it's just like, I feel like, there's a sense of exchange that's there. You there for me, I'm there for you during this time. You could talk to me during this time. I could talk to you during this time. You feeling me, I'm feeling you, but you not doing anything to keep the fire burning. Like when you first met. You thinking, you yes.
Can you hear me?
You wanted to say something? You freezing up a little bit, but I can't.
Okay, so I can't tell if you can. Okay, there it goes. Okay, yeah, I mean, you're making me. I want to add on to that right there. Because what you're doing is you're touching on the actual expansion process. Right, that's the process of expansion that you're talking about, right? This is where you get into the macabre, right? Because you have woman, which is water, male, which is what? If woman's water with all the liquids, what is man? Man is the fire, right? Man is the fire. So what happens a lot of times is that the fire is hot, ready to go. The fire is like, what's going on? And the water is ready too, but the water can't heat itself up. The water needs the fire to heat it up, even if it's ready to go. If it's ready to go, that means it's ready to boil. As soon as the water gets there, it's like some special water. It's like magic water. As soon as the water hot immediately. But if the fire a lot of times gets burned out before the water starts to boil, right? Before the water gets hot enough. Because when the water gets hot, what happens to water when it starts to get hot? The molecules do what? They break up and expand.
They break up and expand.
That's the expansion process.
Right.
And what happens when they expand? They create something, right? What do they create? They go, which direction do they go? Do they go down? Do you see bubbles? Bubbles go left or right? You ever see bubbles go like this? Left or right? You ever see bubbles downward? Bubbles always go to the same direction, which is ironic because if you stop up water, like you flush a toilet or you put water in a sink and you let the water out, in different hemispheres, it's going to go the opposite direction. So if you're in South America, their water's going counterclockwise. You understand what I'm saying? South of the equator, the rotation is different. So it's the same thing in this situation. You want to be able to create you want to be able to expand. When you create, that's what the Tantra objective is, to melting or the merging of energies with the lust. The lust is the vehicle. That's the power grid. That's the one. The love is the guiding rule of the lust, because when you're full power lust and you have love, then you still have a parameter of what you will and won't do, right? Because lust by itself, it can make you reckless, right? And you'll end up doing things that are not the most intelligent, and you end up wondering why you did it. It's because at the time you were strictly in the lust and you lack self-control in that situation. So in order to control yourself, because he who's out of control is easily controllable, right? I can control you if you're out of control. So when I can't control myself, whether it's because of love or lust, I'm violating. I can blame it on love if I want. I can blame it on lust if I want. It's a decision that you have to make, because really these are all tools that you use to execute, because you are the God, literally. There is no other God higher than you. Now, what that means literally is the fact that this is a ritual. This is a creation act. This is a creation act. Guess what? It starts when you have that lust in your mind before you get to love somebody. You lust after them. Damn, she thick, she beautiful. Man, she looking at him. She like, yo, look at him, man. He like, that's lust. That had nothing to do with love. She made the physical part that says she wants to be with him, touch him, and him. She want to be with him. That's the lustful part, right? That a lot of times is the beginning of the sex act. It takes those moments to make the love even develop, right? So the way that the child is conceived, you know, the way a child is conceived is all based on the connection that you have. And that's all based on the level of lust that you have. If your lust is too low, then you're going to be all in love and kind of shy. And it's like, I love you. You know, lust is make you be like, both of y'all going in. Everybody's going in, interacting, ready to go. You know, so
I want to talk about something new. A point that you're making is the fact that, you know, we keep touching on the fact that this is something that happens 24/7, right? So all a person, a human, has to do is tap in to it. So it's just like we have shelter, right? We may have houses that we live in. We have shelter, right? And I know that I need to go outside. I need to go outside and sit on the porch. And, you know, sometimes I feel the rain and ground, right? But I need to go outside, right? I need to. If I sit in the house all day, then I'm like, man, I feel confined and I don't feel free. So I need to get outside. So when I go outside, outside is always there. It's always there. The elements are always there. All I have to do is step outside of my home and I'm in the atmosphere, right? The same thing with sex or that energy. It's huge because all you have to do is have a thought. And as soon as you have that thought, you tap in to the activated flow of sexual energy. It's going. And as soon as you have that thought about whatever sexually related, you tap in to the energy of that huge energy that sometimes it can become our God if we allow it to. Sometimes we obsess over it so much we can't do anything else. Sometimes we do it not at all and we wonder why we so rigid. You know, we think it's taboo to even think about the pleasures that it gives us. We think it's taboo to even be lusting after somebody. But that's just like thinking it's wrong to want to go outside. And some of us do. Some of us stay in the house all day. Right? Some of us don't want to go outside. So when you're activating that part of you, it's important that there's a balance. It's important that there's a balance. We have to balance it. If you meet somebody and you loving them and you lusting after them, there has to be a balance in it. You have to have both of them. So both entities have to be balanced by themselves. And then when they come together, you balance each one of them separately within yourself. So you balance love, you balance lust, then you balance them together. That's three things you're doing. Right? So you get with this person and y'all was, you know, active. And then all of a sudden that's not there anymore. It's just done, you know, for whatever reason. So what do you think is going to happen to the relationship? Or what do you think is going to happen to whatever contract that you two have, because you probably made a verbal one, you know, you made one with sex. What you're going to think is going to happen to the contract? The contract is like it's going to expire, just like you're expiring your efforts. Sometimes we become selfish. Sometimes we are selfless. Sometimes we don't care what's being done to us. Sometimes we pull back and we don't have a reason to, and we just think, you know what, I have a yoni and I'm just not going to do nothing with him because I'm mad at him today. So no, you can't have it. You know, sometimes he feel like he just want to do whatever he want to do to everybody. And y'all haven't made this agreement. My point is, it has to be balanced. Keep doing what you've been doing from the beginning. Keep doing what you've been doing when you met. If you've been together for 20 years, for 1 year, for 6 months, for 3 months, it's like you have to, you know how you have a record of certain events that take place. You have a picture to remind you of how you look on that day when you felt like you was fly. That record in your mind, that nostalgia that creeps up of that time when this happened and we were so in love and the ignition of the flames. Replay that in your mind and do the same thing. Create the same atmosphere, create the same space, create the same flow. Because remember, you are the God. We can't leave it up to probability. You are the God and you are the goddess. And now, yes.
Yeah, Joe, I wanted to say, excuse me. Also lust, you know, another interesting thing about lust is not always dealing with sexual appetite, right? Because lust itself, it can be applied to, you have a lust for a sport, right? Where you put that same creative life force. Because see, you have to understand, sexual energy is not always dealing with physical sex. I'm just talking about the energy itself, right? These are the creative aspects where you take the energy, you pick the energy up, you move it over here, and you use that same energy over here to perform a different deed, something else that you want to do, this life force. And people wonder why you have so much going on all over the place, because you're able to pick that energy up, move it over here, and do it over there, right? And you're able to go back and forth and use the energy over there. So next time something happens, you say, oh, damn, I'm horny. And right, guess why you're horny all the time, right? You have that energy. It comes up and you move it over here. That's creative energy. That ritual, right? It allows you to talk to people. And when you talk to people, you're now starting to create. You are, you know, the goddesses are representing that creatrix energy, and the gods are representing the creator energy. But the creator is where the story is being told from. We're being told the story of the creator, when actuality, who made the creator? Well, who made the creator was the creatrix. And that's why the whole story was flipped around, and the feminine aspect was removed from the Godhead, from that whole story. I mean, we know this already, you know, but they had, you know, you can't remove the concept. You can only remove the name, right? So the name of the spirit, the spiritual aspect, the feminine principle can't be removed from telling a story of creation. No matter how much you try, you're going to have that principle in there, right? Because you don't have the Trinity without the Holy Spirit. Well, you know, the Holy Spirit is supposed to be the spirit, you know, they change it. See, like the story of Mayat, which is the original justice, you understand? Mayat was murdered. Mayat justice was killed. And so you had a ghost. And that was the whole principle, where it wasn't a physical, it was just a man and his son and a ghost, which was justice, right knowledge, the Mayat principles. Those principles were murdered. And so now you have nothing left but a shell. So lust, when we're talking about lust, we're talking about sexual energy, we're talking about lust. This is something that it's actually good to have this type of energy, because what it does, anything that you have in life, and I don't care what it is, anything that you have that is forcing people around you to be like, what the hell is that? When they ask questions like what it is, as long as you're not doing things that are defined as fuckery, all right? As long as you're not involved with any of those things, you know, it is what it is. Other than that, you know, for instance, you know, being late, it's not, you know, I'm not saying be late, but what I'm saying is you can tell people who are late all the time chronically, they operate outside of time. A child, if you take a child can't tell you they're a small child, you know, they're not going to be able to tell you the difference of the time frames. They haven't learned that yet. That's a learned behavior. That's why it's no mystery to say that time is an illusion, right? So lust, it actually exists in that same center, that same core spot where the life force exists, because lust is always found anytime there's sex, powerful, strong sex.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So after we realize that these are these components, these attributes to this huge energy, right? There are these attributes. There are these entities, and Tantra is the matriarch. Tantra is feminine. Tantra is moving. Tantra is making you sweat. You know, when you see this woman walk into a room, you know, especially when she is a practitioner, okay? Especially when she knows how to tap into that part of her. That life force is activated. She moving and she shaking, right? She moving. And it doesn't matter what's going on. She can be anywhere. And it's almost like you can smell her pheromones when she walk into a room, when she walk into, I mean, that's the huge aspect of it, you know. Wherever she goes, she can walk full. You know, she can show up in a live video. She can show up in the grocery store. She can show up wherever. And it's like, you know, you sniff it. I can smell. Whew, something going on. Queens and goddesses, you know what I'm talking about. When the brothers, whomever, come and they at your very feet, you know, they're doing whatever you need. You know, you could be walking, they click across the other side and they come and they run in to serve you and help you, do whatever you need to do. You know what, I can grab that for you. I'll take your bags. You know, they just want to be around you. Something's activated in them. Something happens. It clicks. It's like, man, you know, the attribute of Tantra, the attribute of the fact that this is a part of the matriarch of it. What I'm saying is own it. Own it. And it's something that you brought up, Maya. You brought up justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was gone. You brought her into it because she's showing up because there's an establishment that she wants to reestablish herself. You know, look, I'm not really. You know what? Tap into that attribute of yourself. And everybody want to be used. We don't want to be misused. Tap into that attribute of yourself, queens, and wear it. Wear it like a nice glove on you. And wear it. And be that. Don't hide behind it. Don't think it's wrong. Don't think, you know, wear it. And when you wear it, make your words your bond and stand behind it. You know, you got people talking about, you know, when you meet somebody and they talking about, you know what, when I get you, girl, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. Or he's saying, you know, or you saying, you know what, when I get you, boy, I'm going to light you up. Make sure you do it. There's so many things that we can do to make this happen. Make your words your bond. You know, we got this accessible energy that we can tap into, and we still walking around looking like we're not free because we're not understanding that is something, that's a tool that's there as soon as you're born. That tool, you know, the little babies, the little boys, you know, they born, they ready, they peeing on you in your face and stuff, you know. Tap into it. Tap into it and stop acting like it's shameful. It's not. Stop acting like it's something that we need to hide about it. You know what? Don't say that. Oh my goodness, don't say that. I'm just gonna get that concept out of your mind of I'm going to hell. Tap into it. Become that. Walk in that. Be that. Be that. Be yourself. You know, be all that to yourself and all that to your mate. And make sure you balancing it so that you can. You know, get that mango and eat it up.
Oh, shit.
If you don't know how to do certain things, you know, there's some classes. You know, come to me. We can have a chat, ladies. Let's talk. We can have a chat about it. Okay, you want to talk about oral sex, ladies? You know, there's a class on it. I give a class. You know, just go to alchemytemple.org. You know, how to oral sex, you know, with Goddess Jamila. Because believe me, I can teach a class. Talk to me, y'all. Eat the banana, right? But we don't want to bite it. We don't want to bite it. There's some things that we can do, tantrically speaking, ladies, to please our mate. I mean, there's some parts that we can just push and touch with our hands and with our mouth and with our, I mean, it's so much. We can also help him from ejaculating too fast. There are things that we can do with our yoni to help him from ejaculating too fast.
See, now, you know, I want to address something because, excuse me, you know, I see there's you know, some people seem to think that it's a lower vibration when you actually talk about sexual activity, right? And the vibration is actually really low to think that this is a 5% conversation because there's sexual activity. See, there goes the stick in the ass syndrome thing that we was talking about before, you know, where you're too uptight to understand, you know what, when you get into your spot, into your bedroom or to wherever you're getting ready to do what you do, you can't be all uptight and all scary and acting like you can't talk about stuff. See, the spiritual aspect has not been separated from the sexual aspect, and that's your problem. That's the problem of the masses. There's a separation of this energy. The sexual energy is your spiritual energy.
Noah, talk about the animalistic aspect of it as well.
Okay, well, you know, you touched on that earlier, and I like that fact that you went into that because you talked about how this ritual, this cosmic ritual, is a ritual that exists on the planet through every type of being, not just humans, not just primates, not just, you know, mammals, but fish are doing it. Birds are doing it. Snakes are doing it. Okay. Insects are doing it. You can go out in the springtime and see 2 grasshoppers out there getting it in any time of day. You know, animals are doing what they do. The whole world isn't, even trees. What do you think is the actual pollen? Pollen is nothing but tree sperm. All right. So now you know pollen is tree sperm because that's what they're doing. It's basically ejaculating sperm that's spreading out to populate the other plants, right? And people who are allergic to it, basically, they don't like that. And I guarantee you, if you have allergies bad at the pollen season, it's going to affect your sexual appetite and your creative energy, right? So that's something that you can spiritually activate. So the animalistic part of you is a part, you don't see animals acting funny. An animal doesn't care if a dog is trying to get some. He don't care he don't care who's around, right? A bird, these animals, it's called what? Animalistic behavior because it's familiar to all the animals. And we, being a part of this animal kingdom, having an animalistic side that's fully aware of itself, you understand, it has what it has. So, you know, I wanted to address that because I did see a statement and I was challenged, and I'm trying to hold the challenge. I have a challenge and I'm going to keep the challenge. But listen.
Okay, so let me just say this, Nua. The thing about it is that a lot of us, and not us, when I say us, I mean collective as humans, and we trying to ascend, okay? But it's not me personally. We sneaky. We gonna be sneaky because we say we acting all rigid, but we gonna send some pictures of our yoni, right? You know, or we sneaking. You know, we want to meet you on the other side of the bush, and we'll lick every part of your body, right? We sneak and we do it, right? You know what? You know what? Let's do this. You know what? We on the down low about certain things. You know, we doing it every right way, but we don't want to talk about it. You know, you talk about going to the strip club, people act like they're gonna pass out. You know, they faint. Oh, what's wrong with you? I mean, you know what? Go to the learn how. Some of us need to learn how to get on the pole, ladies, and work that pole. You know, work it. When I'm talking about oral sex, you need to learn how to do it, or he gonna get it done somewhere else. Let's keep it real. I mean, learn how to do it and do it well. I'm talking about learn how to do it. Fellas, if it's time to eat the yoni, you better learn how to do it. Gobble, gobble, Pac-Man. You better learn that there's a clitoris involved in this, and there's the inside of her yoni that would love to feel your tongue. Learn how to do it. You know, there's a G-spot, let alone other pressure points that can be stroked by the phallus, the penis. Touch them parts of yourself, ladies. You got fingers. They're not just for writing or cooking. Massage, touch, rub. You got a tongue. We both have tongues, and if you don't, make some up. If your tongue been cut out, you know, there was a freak accident or something. You know what? You got lips. Use them lips. Nibble, nibble. Nibble, nibble. Suck that clit. Okay? And if you don't know how to do it, listen. Some of us females can teach both sides of it. We can teach you, because ladies, we can do it all. We can teach you about the yoni, and we can teach you about the penis. Okay, talk to me. Let's stop sneaking.
Hold on. Now, excuse. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll get you in a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Now listen. There's some things that we can do as I mean, come on, own it. Before, you know what? Before I do any type of physical sex, I already play it out in my mind over and over like a movie. I already know. I get myself together. I get my mouth. I do mouth exercise. I'm doing all kind of stuff. I'm massaging my cheekbones, getting them ready, you know, stretching out my mouth, you know, making sure I drink some water, you know, getting the yoni together, you know, making sure she good, lemon water, you know, yoni eggs, you know, all that good stuff. Kegels, you know. I'm telling you, y'all gonna sign up with that class. How to, right? How to please your mate. You don't have to do what I do, but it's just like I want to ignite that part of you. So you can own that. You walk in there, you already know what's going on. In the sex magic class that we're teaching together, because we're gonna go into all of this, but that's a side note, okay? But I'm telling you, stop acting like this is something that's foreign to us. And then as soon as I walk away, you say, peace to the God knew I want to send you some pictures. Or as soon as he walk away, the fellas be like, hey, you know what? I want to get with you. You know, no, be that out loud right now. Stop sneaking like, you know what? That don't mean people have to be in your business. But what I'm saying is, come on. Don't act like you ain't know. And I'm not telling you to flood my inbox or his either. All I'm saying is stop acting. Stop acting. Stop putting them thoughts in the back of your mind and act like people can't see them. Let's keep it 100. Keep it 100. If I see this guy and he talking like this, I'll be like, man, shoot. Whew, you know. You know, so the stick starts to slide up out of my behind. And I'm like, whoo, I'm getting hot, right? Because it's something that you being fed. It's an energy. And it's all over him. And I know it's all over me because I know what I do when I'm home by myself. So the entity that's there, my life force, I mean, I know she be speaking to y'all like she's speaking to y'all right now. Don't hide it. She know. She's speaking to y'all right now. Some of y'all getting fed and y'all licking y'all lips and y'all don't even want to lick them. and then become that. It's okay. Come on, let's be real. Let's keep it 100. Come on now. Stop acting like, oh, why everybody so eager to join the sex magic class so we can keep it on the down? Oh, I really want to join this class because I want to close all the curtains and I don't want nobody to see that, oh my God, I'm feeling this way in my hands. Oh, they're going down below. Look, oh, come on. Do it proud because I know I do. Believe me, I'm going to balance this stuff. It's not going to be no blockages up there. It's not. No blockages. Yanni, I understand you like the suspense of it, but you don't, the suspense is good. It's like, you know what? It's like before you meet this brother, you know, some of us meet online and before you meet him, the suspense, the lust that's there, you know, we don't know. You know, before you meet this sister, before you meet this brother, and then you haven't met in the physical, then, you know, it's the suspense of it. You like, I know. I could just tell by the conversation that we have that this gonna be lit, you know? That's exciting. So you already preparing that part of you. You like, you know what? Whoo, let me just, you know what? I can't wait to get you to my bed, you know, because, woo, right? And then when y'all get together, that thing be dope. You know, you be like in the corner like, hey, woo! Especially if he knocked out, you be like, what? What you was saying? What you was saying, bro? What you was saying again to me? What you was saying, sis?
Now,
y'all feel me, right?
On the flip side, y'all, on the flip side, right? The other half of that joint, on the other half of that, what is the purpose? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the end result? Right? So you have all this feeling, you have all this that you want to do. What happens when you do it? Right? Because there's already, now, first of all, we're talking about contracts, energy locks. So first of all, the lust, when you have lust like that, the first thing that happens is that the object of your lust, where you attach it to, that becomes a link, a connect. That's why I was saying it bridges the gap, right? So if the person doesn't receive it, if they don't want it, that's where it's negative.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. What do you mean if they don't want it? You mean they don't want, if there's lusting, I'm lusting for you, but you don't want it. That's what you mean? Or you have already partake?
If I have not and I don't want it, I'm not interested in it. It's coming to me and it's coming back to back to back. You know, I'm not really feeling this person. This is not something, it's not somebody who I'm feeling. I don't have that same feeling for them. I'm thinking about whatever else, and it becomes annoying, right? Because that energy is alive, it's strong, it's life force, right? So once it attaches to somebody who doesn't want it, then it becomes a negative energy, right? Because that person gonna be like, God damn, like, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna be irritated. You know how it is when somebody's lusting after you and you don't want them to do that. At that, you're not even really feeling them. Or not, it might just be them. You might be very horny all the time, but they just disgust you. Just not really feeling them. You like, well, what you looking at me like that for? Like, you get upset, right? So in a situation where lust is strong like that, but it's going to the person who doesn't want it, that's where it gets negative. So it has to be a mutual agreement, because then it's a highway and it goes like this. The same thing with love. They both can do the same type of thing. Right, but the difference is that.
But can't we do
Oh yeah.
Wait, let me ask you. Can't we do this? If somebody is lusting after me, and I clearly don't want them, and it's stronger and stronger and stronger, and I can feel that energy, I can transmute that energy into what I want it to be, and block them, cut them off, and use it to where I want it to go. I could send it to the person I really want.
Mm-hmm.
I could take that negative that became negative because I'm clearly letting you know that I don't want you. I ain't giving you no play. So I can gobble that up, swallow it, and send it. Now, this is what we're going to learn in Sex Magic. We're going to learn how to do that. We can send it to the person who we really feeling and who feeling us too a little bit.
Okay, well, you're taking it to the next. You taking it to the next one where you're actually taking. You're going in on that part where you're taking and transmuting the energy or whatever. Like, you giving them the jewels. You let them know you giving it away. You giving it away. But no, that's all good though. That's what it is. You want to take that. That's what we talking about. Like, basically, you pick the energy up, put it over there, take it over there, put it over there. You do it. You kind of, eventually, you realize that you have volunteers, and these people who are giving you that energy that you don't want, they become volunteers.
Right. Yeah.
And you use the energy. You use the energy to do whatever you want. Like, for instance, say somebody's lusting after you that you're not interested in at all. You can't stand this person. Even the thought of it is make you sick to your stomach, right? Guess what you can do? You take that energy and you can use it towards getting your job or accomplishing your goal, right? Because remember, this is life force energy, right? So instead of just looking at it and saying, I would never rock with you. Take the energy, transmute it, and send it where you want it to go. Direct it towards you want it where your goal is. Exactly what you want it to do. You can do that any kind of way. You can do it through rituals, ceremonial, which is a part of the rituals and ceremony has always been a part of it. We always do the rituals and ceremonies because that's how the story gets retold and it gets reinvented over and over, right? And then you do your I give you a ceremony, you do the ceremony, and then while you're doing it, once you know the core of the ceremony, you know the beginning, middle, and end, you know how it's supposed to rock. After that, the little parts, you want to add a little bit of this, you want to do a little bit of that, and then you kind of replace this with that, and you kind of adjust the ritual to be your own. Some things are going to get taken completely out. Some things are going to be added all the way in. Some stuff's going to get moved around, but you're going to have the basic format that stays the same. All magic is strongest when it's produced by you. If you're learning a magic from another system, you're learning another tribe, a tribe of people, individuals. It doesn't even matter if it's your tribe, all right? It could be your tribe. It could be your tribe from all your people who've been there hundreds of years ago, your tribe. But it doesn't mean you are doing the same thing. Maybe maybe the last 3 lives that you had have been so messed up on the level of knowledge and information that you really don't know nothing. All right. You really don't know anything spiritually. And so you have a hard time grasping on spiritual things. So you walking around with this stick and your sexual energy, every time you hear something about anything sexual, you just are like spazzed out. See that energy right there, it shows. And if you ask any real psychic who knows, who can actually tell, a lot of the people who have repressed sexual energy, it's traveling with you through your life cord. So through different lives, that energy has been sucked up into you every single time. So when you're not releasing, when you're not letting the energy go, how do you feel? How do you feel when you haven't released in a long time? Now imagine your soul feeling like that. You're going through lifetimes with that feeling. That's what's wrong with these people. They don't have any idea. Their whole religion, the whole concept of sexual anything is beating it up to where they don't even have any clue. But then you have the flip side of that where it's over sexualized, right? When it's over sexualized.
You know what? That's excuse me, but that's when you have these priests that molest these children.
Also, you have that, yes, but you also have like these grown priests who are trying to sex all their clients, every single one of them.
Right.
That's just as bad, right? Because aren't the clients in that point? Don't they become children, right?
Yes.
So if it's the same, what's the difference between a Catholic priest? It's a big difference between a Catholic priest with a little child, but energetic wise, a priest or so-called priest who has people coming to them who's constantly trying to sex every single one of them it seems like the same type of energy, really.
So Yaya has a question, Nua. What happens with the energy if you don't use it, even after you leave them after 3 years. I'm thinking it says it's still there. It's still there with you. The energy is there. It hasn't gone anywhere. Sometimes if you it comes up and you'll start thinking about this person and you'll get mad. Okay, you get it to try to get it to.
I'm sorry, I got to give you the technical answer for that. I apologize. I have to do this though. So the answer of the question, if this is somebody that you dealt with, right? This is somebody who you've been with intimately, physically. You did the done with them. You did the do, right? More than once. You've been in a relationship with them, so this thing has happened for a long time now. You haven't been with them. That's what I'm assuming what you're saying, right? So with that, the energy, first of all, on a woman, the DNA code is for 21 years. All right. That's why, the sexual connections that you have, they have to be of the same, of a certain energy, a certain frequency, right? Because if the frequency is not matched up, then number one, it's going to end up severing itself anyway off of the connection. The connection is going to end up disappearing anyway because the frequency is off. All right. It's going to automatically do that. But also because you've already created a DNA code, the DNA code is supposed to be eternal because it's life force. Life force is always existing. That's why man will never die. Man has never had a beginning and man will never have an end. Why? The life force itself is what man is representing. That's what we house inside of our temples, inside of our vessel. We house this life force energy. That is eternal. That life force itself is eternal. Right? It's not going to be snuffed out. It can't be snuffed out, right? Because it exists inside everything that you see, everything live and animal.
So nothing can be done to sever that energy.
Not totally and completely from all things, right? It can be snatched from you. It can be snatched from me, right, individuals, but it can't be snatched from everything, right? If a whole bunch of people die, it's going to be a whole bunch of people who's still alive. A whole bunch of babies are going to be born. A whole bunch of animals die, it's going to be a whole bunch of animals born. A whole bunch of insects die, they're going to have a bunch of trees are going to create a whole bunch more insects. You kill a bunch of plants, the plants start growing and protecting. And see, that's another thing, dealing with the energy of plants, how plants create their networks. We're dealing with sexual energy, and the plants, they create their network. So, if you understand, like I mentioned about pollen, the tree pollen, how the trees basically bust in your face, right? That's what's going on. And a lot of the people who have allergies, they don't like that, right? So these are the same people, and it's just my theory. I believe a lot of the same people who get affected mostly by tree pollen because trees, are closely connected to you. Right, you're a part of. I mean, you're on your respiratory system, right? Which was only a brand new thing for you, right? Because when you were in the womb, you didn't have that. You didn't have that respiratory thing going on, right? How did you breathe when you were in the womb?
So there's a question that came up. How do you sever or cut yourself off from an aborted child? Or even if you lose a child. Firstly, there's a way to do that. I want to say that. And also, Nuak can elaborate on this for you, but there's definitely a way to do that. It's some energy work involved. And there is a process that can be done with assistance.
But why do you want to sever the tie, the connection, sever the connection? Why would you want to sever the connection? I mean, if it's an aborted child, a lot of times the child may not want to be, severed. They've already been severed, and that's the reason why they might be causing so much havoc in your life. A lot of times, these energies are going to travel with you, and they can travel with you for up to 9 different lifetimes. So to sever them is just throwing you back in the repercussions that are going to last up to 9 to 13 different lifetimes. That's why you're supposed to make moves now for 13 generations ahead of yourself. So you just basically are making moves for yourself and your children 12 times. right? Where children is one, and then down the line, like you want to make moves. Basically, it's not that hard if you think about saying something through your, you know, and making sure that it's clear enough to when it gets all the way through the end of these 13 people, it's said exactly what it has to do. So this is how the reason why you write stuff down or whatever. So, you know, I'm just saying you may or may not want to sever that tie. It depends on why the abortion you had it in the first place. Do you really want to sever the tie? That's something for a consultation that you would have to really find out for real. But do you actually want to sever the tie? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I also see something about there was a question somebody asked about you know, to break the energy tie, like if you have sex with another person, if you break the energy tie. No, that does not break the energy tie, especially for woman, because woman is a receiver, okay? And woman can take it. She can take it, right? I mean, the yoni is going to stretch out and going to push out a 12, 13-pound baby. No man can really stop anything. A woman can just receive whatever's going to come, and see that the man is, you know, able to, the man comes in the same way the baby comes out. So there's nothing he can do. The stretching that will hurt the yoni is stretching this way. It can't stretch only so far going this way, but going this way, there's nothing that any man can do to harm her. So you can't, the energy tie is going to be locked in. So you can cut the cord. You can cut that tie. There are ways to cut that cord. And there are, and like you said, is a lot of it is done through energy work. There are other things that can be done too. But the main thing is always going to be energy work.
Right. So family, this is Tantric Tuesdays. And we're coming to you live from the Alchemy Temple with your hostess, Goddess Jamila, and the founder of Alchemy Temple, Nuaso Mayibe. I'm sorry. You know, my lips got stuck together there. And we're talking about love, right? Are we caught in the web of love, or is it lust? That's what we're talking about. Are we caught in the web of love, or is it lust? I want to say that either one, it doesn't matter.
It's all good.
You can do whatever you want to do. It's all good. If you're lusting after an individual, go into that. You ever heard Nuaso ask how many people have experienced deja vu? Right? When was the last time you experienced deja vu? And you know how usually with deja vu, we stop and we just say, hold up, is deja vu happening? And you just let it come and you let it go by. You just recognize the moment. And then he says, go into it. Go into it. The same thing. If you feeling some lust, go into it. Look around. Move it around. If you feeling some love, go into it. How are we going to balance it if we're not absorbing it and becoming it and going into it? How are we not going to really understand the effect or what has happened in the moment of deja vu if we're not really standing in it? We just say, hold up, this deja vu. We're not acknowledging what's happening. We just and that's what we do oft times. We let stuff pass us by. You know, we can't keep letting stuff pass us by. You meet this brother, you meet this sister, and you feeling them, and you be like, you know what? If they don't call me today, I'm just not gonna talk to them. Why? You feeling this person? You know, we began to feel like we don't want to do anything. We become lazy. We become lazy to the things that satisfy us. Stop. First is us. Don't become lazy to go after what you want. Don't become a stalker. Balance it. Don't stalk them now. If they telling you clearly they don't want you, listen to that. Don't start that now. But if they giving you signs and you know things happening, you be like, okay, challenge on them. Learn when to not, but learn when to keep going. You'll know. It doesn't always have to be a game. I'm going to see if he's going to call me today. I'm going to see if she's going to call me today. You know, I'm gonna go on social media and stalk their page and see who else pictures they liking. You know, stop letting this stuff control you.
You know,
because it's just entertainment, and know that.
Yeah. Excuse me. That was an interesting point you made. Excuse me. Both love and lust have their warning, right? So lust, it can be out of control. It's hard to contain. It's out of control, goes head first. Love is tricky. Love starts mixing up things in it. You know, perception starts getting twisted. You start looking at stuff differently. You start hearing and feeling stuff differently. When love is around, it changes everything. It's tricky. So yeah, you want to deal with love, but love is a slippery slope.
It's not bad.
It's not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's slippery. You have to be, it's like, it just means you have to handle yourself with care, right?
Right.
You can't be out there acting like you can't be carefree. I mean, careless, right? With love. If you're in love, you can't be careless when you're in love. That's like that's like being somewhere, with cash money on you, a whole bunch of it, and you reckless.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful when there's love around. You have to be delicate because love has to be treated kindly. Otherwise, it's going to get hurt. When it gets hurt, all kind of shit happens. Right? If you hurt it bad enough, you can hurt love and see there's a ripple effect. When you damage love, see, there's a law, there's a natural order, there's a natural law. When you damage love, when you treat love bad, it doesn't matter if you're lust. Right? It depends on which energy is stronger at the time. If love is powerful at the time, it's innocent. In its innocent formation, love is peaceful. It's like it does what it does, though. It doesn't, it's cool. I mean, it might run you over. I say peaceful, but I use that term loosely. Love might get you, right? But love is innocent, even though it might be aggressive. Love is innocent. Lust is always aggressive. When lust comes out, it doesn't have that in the cut. Lust comes for you. It's coming for you, right? Now, love is tricky. Lust is hard to control when it's full. So both of them have their things that come with them. So you just have to be able to balance yourself out and use them as tools, just like fear. Fear is another one of the tools. You use fear as your ally. Lust is another one of your tools. Lust is an ally. You're supposed to, when you go into lust, you go into creation mode, creation form. When you go into orgasm, which is the byproduct of lust, you actually literally create. Now, if you're doing magic, right, that's the moment that you already, even though you don't know any sex magic, when you orgasm, you scream out, you yell, you lose all of your control of your face. You start to contort. Eyes go in different directions. Face ball up. Shoulders go this way. Head go down. Feet go in. Arms turn retarded. Right? It just, one of them good ones. You just turn the ugly face. Right? And see, that's the thing people don't want to understand. See, that's the thing about the beauty of creation is that the ugly face comes in, right? You ever see somebody when they having sex and it's real good, the faces that get made, the sounds that get made are really like the same sounds that a person who could be hurt would make.
A
woman screaming a lot of times sounds like a woman crying.
Mm-mm. Mine sound real sweet and melody. I'm just speaking for myself. I sound like a melody. I sound like you have a whole band playing behind me. You know, you know, it sounds like, you know, we can get together and start singing some ooh, 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 right there. Ooh, 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 don't stop. Ooh, y'all know, I don't sound ugly at all. I don't know.
I didn't say ugly. I didn't say ugly. I didn't say like a
I don't
ugly
sound like
cry.
I'm in pain either. You know, unless it's that feel good pain, I'd be
Okay, well
like,
then
yeah, but keep
that's a type
going.
of pain. The feel good pain, right? It's the feel good pain. But see, there's a thin line, right, between love and hate. And there's a thin line between pleasure and pain,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a thin line between all of those, but there's a big gap between spiritual and physical. Those
Peace and love, Crystal. Thank you. Peace and love, goddess.
the gap between spirituality and physical is huge. It's massive. You have to use your natural energies that you have inside of you to even tap into any of the spiritual qualities, right? Because you can't, I mean, you live in a 3D world, and in the 3D world, you don't see anything spiritual around you. Everything is physical, right? When the wind blows, you can give it a spiritual meaning, but hey, it's the wind. When you look at the seeds grow a plant, we can give it a spiritual meaning, but you can only see the sprout. It's physical. You can see it happen, but you don't know the spiritual. You have to tap into that. It's a big gap between spiritual and physical. You have to have an activation of a certain frequency inside of you. An energy current takes place. You have energy currents in your body that are not activated when you don't have an activation of your sexual life force vibration. When you have that life force vibration activated inside of you, then other charges are set off. The charges are set off inside of you, right? There are glands, and this is what you'll learn in some of the classes that you get at alchemytemple.org, but there are glands inside of your body that are just sitting there dormant. They don't do anything. Except for, you know, they have a couple functions, but they're not doing anything. But once you activate this current, you get the Heru head. The Heru head is when that charge goes up and that current starts circulating around. See, the only thing they're telling you about is the third eye. But there's so much more going on inside the Godhead, right? Which is you. The only God is self. The only God is I. So inside the Godhead, there's Matt. So when the God is in love, it's okay to operate and use love. But when the God is in love, then you fail in love and you descend from the Godhead. So your powers are different. So you're using love, and love is a descent. So you don't have the same knowledge and the same ability to operate and function as you did before, because now you have descended into a perception. That's all love means. It just means perception, because when one person perceives, the other one doesn't. So if I say it's up, if you're from up there, you're going to say this is down, right? So I'm like, no, we're going to get in an argument of it's up or down. If you're up there looking and it's saying it's down and I'm down here saying it's up, who is right? Right? It's a perception. That's what love is. Love puts you in the thing. Lust is actually what's coming from you outward to the thing that you see. That's the difference. See, love is the connection that you have, you know, of the thing, allness and all of that. Like, you know, that's the love of we are and the connectivity of things. Lust is coming from you to it, from you to it. That's lust. So love is more forceful. It's hard to contain. It's hard to contain, but love is connected directly to, lust is connected directly to orgasm, which is connected to the life force energy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to actually see what the life force looks like, look at how somebody looks when they have an orgasm. And then look at the rawness of that. I'm just talking about the facial expressions, the contortions, the body movements, all of that. Look at that, right? And then take a fetus in the womb, or even Fast forward, you can take the whole baby. Because I was saying at the very, very beginning when it looks alien like, right? When it's just the head and the body's like, and it looks just real animalistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very animalistic, like a tadpole almost, or almost like a giant sperm,
Mm-hmm.
right? The tail, which is like the spinal cord, and then the head. And see, from the tail, from the end of the tail, you have legs that grow out, arms that grow out, and then you stand up. But really, in the womb, you were just in that pouch, in that aquatic pouch. And how did you breathe? You didn't breathe through anything other than the umbilical cord, through your belly button. So your survival now is through your lungs and through the Godhead, right? The Godhead is how you survive. But before, you didn't have a part of that. You were part of your mother's womb. You were in the womb and you were surviving from your lower center, which is the 0 degree. Listen, we're not going to get into all of that. You were surviving from your belly button, right? When you
Right.
were born and you started dealing with your nose and you were cut off from the connectivity, from the oneness, you started operating in emotions and perceptions. At first, you didn't have that. You didn't have emotions and perceptions. And so the whole expansion of Tantra or the sexual energy is that it's all connected. That's why you don't have animals in the animal kingdom having the same problems when it comes to, a bird. Like these birds, I sat there and watched this female bird, and I know she was a female because all the male birds just kept coming up behind her and just they did it. I don't know how many times they did it, but they just flew behind her. They sit there for about 3 seconds and like they pump them real quick and they fly away, and then another one come, boom, and just pow, 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 and then they just fly away. And then you see the males scrapping in the air, they flying at each other, and then another one come while they're fighting, another one come, boom, 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 and she sit there and she'll fly away, and then she'll come back. She's the only one with the colors on her head, and the rest of them,
that's a good point. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
That's a good point, and you tapping in because you read my mind. So, yes, the primordial effects of that's lust. They're not operating in love. That's why they don't deal with what we deal with. They don't have the complications that we have. The animals are just, just like he was describing the birds, that's straight lust.
Mm-hmm.
They don't be like, hey, baby, I love you.
No.
Come on over here. They don't do that.
No. They know that it's for the survival of their species. Their whole purpose, see, family structure, family and all of that, it's not a option. They don't have they're not thinking okay, they know already in some species, the male is already going to be gone. Like they know that. They know off the rip, he's not going to have nothing to do with anything other than impregnating her and go. Right? That's a certain species. That's the way it functions because she is the only one, this female energy, this feminine principle, this essence, right? You have the Shakti Shiva principle here. The actual essence. You have the power of essence and you have the essence of consciousness. You have conscious essence and the power of essence. The Shakti and Shiva, the two that come together, right? So animals, they don't operate in the fact of love as far as, the emotional sense or the perception sense of love, but they are operating in love in the sense that if, their mate, like if they choose to be communal, if something happens to them, they hate it. But guess what? If you touch an eggs, a nest, the egg nest, they don't, it's been contaminated, right? And they don't bother with the egg again. Now, what do you compare that one with? Love or lust?
That's love.
That's love. The contamination, once it's contaminated, they don't rock with it.
So that's another
What
human
happens to the
concept as
egg?
well.
What happens to the egg?
They eat it or something.
The egg dies because they don't have a mother.
Yeah.
So the egg dies. So
True.
love, in that case, killed. Because it was your love that made you touch the egg through curiosity. Ooh, I want it, and boom, and you touch. That's a violation, right? Unless you're gonna eat it, right? Because that's what animals will do. If an animal finds it and they eat eggs, they're gonna eat it, right? But they're not gonna just come touch it and leave. You know, the funny thing about it is that if an animal goes into a bird's nest and tries to get the baby bird, the bird will fight the animal for the baby bird. But if a human touches the bird will not even deal with the baby again.
Wow. So what about us? That's going into when we caught in the web. We caught in the web.
A lot of time it's the web that you're creating. It's the web that you're controlling. It's the web that you made. You're making a web. The other person is making a web. See, now lust, the problem with lust, there's different types of lust. There's different types of love, right? You have everything. So you can basically think about things being done from a core level and things being done from a surface level. No matter what it is, if it's done from a surface level, it's going to mess up. It ain't going to work very well. That's where the web, you start getting tangled and entranced in the web when it's from the surface. But if the actions are deepened, if they're done from the core, then you'll be on the web. Like
right.
You
can walk on it like a spider. Right.
Yeah, so you can't do, so you can do that. You can move on the surface in lust and have problems. You can move on the surface in love, you're going to have problems. If you move at the core in either, it's just all about your navigation. That's all it is.
So there's a question regarding deities. Let me see what the question is. One moment. Let me see. When it comes to human characteristics, do we choose which deities we want to fulfill the different dynamics of the human characteristics? Are we to embrace that? Well, you can choose whoever you want, but they have to choose you as well. You know, you can be, it's just like when Nua was talking about, you know, when you, this negative energy, you know, a person is going after another person that doesn't really want them, and they just keep trying and, you know, just keep calling and trying to come at them, you know, and the person doesn't want them. You know, what do you think will happen if you're doing this to a deity and it's not showing up for you? It doesn't want you and you keep calling it. Same concept. Everything is done in the spiritual world comes to the earth through us. It's no different. Just think of it as, you know what, how we relate with each other. It's no abracadabra or spookism in how the deities are. Remember, we are the ancestors. We're becoming an ancestor. So if I'm becoming an ancestor, that means that they were just like me. So think about that. This is the same mindset. What we're talking about, sexual energy, they have it too. We're talking about, I don't want to be around you, or sometimes I'm caught in a web and I'm not. Think about Ra. Think about Aset. Think about that love. It's the same concept. There's no separation. We can't separate ourselves from these deities. That's what we do subconsciously. Sometimes we do it knowingly because we don't know any better, but we can't separate ourselves. Our chakras line up. You know, you're becoming the ancestor of tomorrow. The fact that you want to have sex, they had sex. It's no separation.
I mean,
we have to get the concept of church out of our mind. We really do.
See, and like the
We
and
have to get.
I'm sorry, I got it. I'm sorry, I just want to hit this. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. Um, one of the interesting facts that you just said that, let me just say this real quick. About you said oh, the spirits, a lot of times, like spirits having sex, a lot of times the way spirits will communicate will be through sexuality. They'll actually come and talk to you through sex before, when they could never talk to you any other way because you didn't ever get to know trance. You won't shut the hell up. See, now, the thing about orgasmic energy is that you automatically go into a trance. This is going to induce a trance. This is going to open your chakras quick, just like that, automatically. All your chakras, bam, they open up just like that when you have an orgasm. So spirits, a lot of times, if they're having a hard time contacting you, they want to talk to you, they will talk to you if you are during sex, especially if you are with somebody who is on the same vibration as you and you're of an elevated frequency. Then the spirits are going to come around and they're going to show themselves to you. So, when you abstain from sex, you can still attract spirits. You can attract spirits, but that's a special practice. But eventually, you're gonna have to. The spirits is gonna be like, "Yo, I'm saying, what's going on?" I mean, like, if your body itself can abstain for so long, but that's just like a tree. Like, if it doesn't rain, I mean, that big oak tree that's 100 feet tall, if it doesn't rain for the whole year, you think the tree's gonna die? What if it doesn't rain for 2 or 3 years? Will the tree make it? It'd be all right, right? Okay, let's say it doesn't rain for 10, 15 years. What's going to happen to the tree? The trees, unless they cut it down, the tree's going to be there indefinitely, pretty much. Even if the leaves stop growing on it and it's dead, the tree, you say it's dead, but guess what? The tree still has roots in the ground, and what the tree does in that case is there is a underground link, a network, like an internet system that tree will connect to loan its actual carbon base to lesser, smaller trees that need it for survival, because maybe they're in the shade or something. There's another tree that's picking it up, or the soil's not that strong. So the tree's already dead. He says, yo, and he gives some of the power. So the tree's alive still, but you looking at the leaves and you say what it is. So the sexual energy is the same thing.
Can I say, I need to say this?
Yes.
In correlation to the example you just gave regarding the tree, it looks dead to us. So we notice that when our life force become activated, we're practicing magic, or we're starting to grow and understand into the occult, the left-hand side of life, our sexual appetite grows. And it's just like if you've been celibate or you haven't had sex for quite some time, your sexual appetite grows, is ignited. And it's the energy, it's like it grows. It's almost like you have to have it. And if you don't receive it from another human, believe me, you're going to receive it from yourself. And then spiritually, spirits come to you more. It's like, you're not doing it, so we gonna give it to you. In the ethers, they don't have rules. They just come and they try to be like, yo, you got to be like, hold up, get off me. So I'm saying it's the same concept. On the outside, you appear dead, rigid, the stick, but you practicing some magic, or you going into this side of your life, you trust and believe. That stick is sliding out. You can't help it, because I know that I'm almost 100% sure that everybody's sex drive, libido heightens. You get horny more.
I mean, that's a fact. I mean, this the more spiritual, the more energy. Because remember, the more spiritual, what are you doing the spirituality for? I mean, that's you tap into spirituality. I mean, what's the bottom line? Like, you do that so you can have more life, right? Like a more quality, high powered life, right? So the life force is sexual energy. So the more powerful, more spiritual you are, automatically the more sexual you are. The more creative you are, the hornier you are, because you have higher sexual energy. But it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to use it in a physical. You can. A lot of people, they choose to majority of the time to transmute the energy and to use it in other activities. And you don't want to be using it in just any random place with any random person. You know, somebody who, just because, you know, and this is the problem where lust is on the surface. Example of lust on the surface is like, yo, you attracted this person to how they look, and that's all you care about. Now, that's usually on the surface. Now, you didn't pay attention that, you know, they have all these other things going on with them, you know, a list of 12 diseases that she would have easily told you about, you know, had you just asked her, but you didn't care because you just look at her, you know, the fact that she has, or he has, maybe he has like a whole bunch of, maybe he's crazy. I don't know. It could be anything, you know, and you wish after the moment of lust, because see, lust is the action on the surface. I'm talking about lust on the surface, because I told you everything is love on the surface, lust on the surface, love at the core, love on the core, lust at the core. So on the surface, the lust is the action that of the life force energy. So once the life force energy is acknowledged by your total being, when your total being acknowledges the life force, in essence, wanting to move, lust is the vehicle that it moves in. Right now, when it's on the surface, the way that it moves through paying attention through the inceptors. You got the four. You like the way somebody smells. You like the way they look. You like the way they sound. So you're using all your senses. This is all dealing with your senses, right? And the sense of touch being the most profound out of all of them, because that's what you want to do. You want to touch. That's how you transfer energy, but you transfer energy through words. So the words are not only transferring through the ears because you hear what's being said there, you're conversing the whole time. That's one type of energy transference. You're transferring through the eyes, through what you're seeing. And then not only are you transferring energy through what you're seeing, but you're transferring through your action, because your action is what you're showing. So that's another transfer, because you're seeing and showing at the same time. These are the different energy transference. So all the senses are active, not just the sense of touch during sex. The whole thing is involved. So you want to make sure that you have a clear understanding that your sexual energy is your spiritual power, and you can't separate that at all.
Indeed. So, family, this is Tantric Tuesdays coming to you from the Alchemy Temple. And it's myself, hostess, Goddess Jamila, and the founder of Alchemy Temple, Nuaso Maibe. We appreciate you all for being in the cipher tonight as we talked about love. You know, is it caught in the web of love, or is it lust? And remember, none of them are bad. They're not bad, okay? We need to balance them. We need to balance them, okay? Yanni, you said the eyes are most powerful. Why are you saying the eyes are most powerful regarding love and lust? That those inceptors are most powerful. Well, you know, you have sapiosexuals, and quite frankly, with sapiosexuals, you know, it's not always, it doesn't, intellect. You know, it's intellectual. And there are a lot of sapiosexuals. So for them, it wouldn't be, you know, that's the most powerful inceptor for them.
So, you know, what I would suggest, Yanni, go on to either Alchemy Temples page or go on the New All Soul page, and there's a video talking about that. You know, talk about the four receptors, which are the eyes, ears, the nose, and the mouth. You can refer back to that one and kind of see that. And I'm breaking down how each of them are different. I mean, obviously, you know the differences anyway, but you know, in order, what do they come? Like if you want to order the senses that you have and order them in from, you know, first to last, strongest to weakest. When I say first to last, I mean from the time you're in the womb. What do you think your first sense is? What's your first sense, Ja?
I'm sorry, what was that? I'm sorry.
What of your senses? Which one is your first one?
Which one is my first one?
Which, I mean, in all the senses, right? The five senses. We're just dealing with the five right now. Which one in the order of which is first to last, which one is strongest to weakest? And we're going back from baby.
Well, it's the feeling. Sorry.
Feeling?
Touch.
Okay, so you say touch. Okay. Anybody else? What do you guys think? You guys agree with that?
Touch, smell.
No.
Indeed, God is divine. Talk to me. Do y'all agree with me? It's the touch.
Sound.
In the order of the senses.
Sound.
You know what? I thought about sound, but why sound?
Okay, so let me tell you why I would say sound. I say sound before smell, before touch, before everything. Because when you're in the womb, you can't smell anything. You might, when you get big enough, your mother can touch her belly and you can feel that. You can even see like the colorations, dark and light. But you can hear her voice from early on. You can hear other people's voices from early on.
But what about vibrations, right, Jean-Vive? The vibrations are felt.
Right, but the vibrations are felt through, first, before they're felt through anything, they're felt through sound, the sound of your mother's voice.
What if you don't have no ears yet?
Well, maybe you're not hearing from your ears. Maybe you're hearing from the eardrums. And the eardrums haven't been developed because you're hearing from your feeling. Okay, I got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So vibration, so feeling vibration will be before sound. So I can see that because if you don't have, I mean, but the thing about feeling, you're gonna always feel something before you hear it.
Right. Even with, for example, even when you meet somebody, right? It can be even a friend, whatever. You can feel even now, how is the energy? What's the vibe? The vibe is like, it's not that you can smell it or see it. When you say, man, it's lit in this cipher. You can't see everybody in there. Or you can say it's dead in the cipher. You know, people not laying on the floor looking like corpses, you know. It's an energy. It's a feeling. It's the same thing. When sex is involved, the first thing we tap into is the frequency. It's a feeling. And the feeling drives a force in us, our life force. It's like it becomes activated. It's like, you know, things activate. For women, you know, we have breasts. You might salivate a little bit out of the mouth. Pant. There's a feeling that activates this. And then after the feeling, what is it? It could be sound or sight. Which one, Nua?
Okay, my bad. Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question?
After the feeling, it could be sound or sight. That's next.
Well, if it's in the womb, see, there's a difference between in the womb and out the womb. So if it's in the womb, I would say the next one will go sound. Or it either be sound or sight.
Even after womb as well. If I haven't met you yet, right? Say you in my inbox and we messaging each other, or you send me a voice clip, or we call each other on the phone. And we talking and you dropping, you know, I'm like, man, I could talk to you all night. That sound.
Yeah, but see, okay, now what you're doing is you're making the senses bleed into each other. So you have intuition and you have the sense of feeling. Like if somebody touches your arm, that's feeling. That you felt them touch your arm. That's your sense of touch, of feeling, right? But when you feel somebody's vibrations, on the sense of somebody has a bad vibe, you talk to them on the phone and they got a good vibe, they have a bad vibe or whatever, and you know, or somebody walks in the room and you feel that's more of an intuitive type thing. That's not, you don't feel that in the sense of what I'm talking about, the physical senses, like the sense of sight. You literally see that thing because you're looking at it with your eyes. If you cover your eyes or you're blinded, you can't see the same things as a person who has vision. Now, you might be able to activate some sort of spiritual vision. If you cut your nose off, I'm sorry, you can't smell. All right. On the physical sense. Okay. So what I'm saying is, yes, there's a difference. There's a difference between spiritual senses and physical senses, right? The spiritual senses are energetic. So I think when you come out of the womb, the first one is going to be the sense of sound, because or maybe the sense of smell, because you're dealing with smelling the mother's milk, but you're also dealing with hearing the mother's voice and the father's voice. You know, sight is coming last or close to the end, right? The sense of touch is very close to the very top, if not the top. The sense of sound is very close, if not the top, because at this point, the baby's relying on, but then the sense of touch is going to go because they're feeding, right? And when you feed, you're going to want to touch. They have to touch their lips to the nipple. They have to touch with their mouth in order to feed, right? And so I think that maybe touch would be the answer in that case. And so touch being the answer kind of goes right along with tantric energies, because the touch energy is so necessary for that expansion and for that expansion to grow, and you expand not outwardly but inwardly to being the God now, the God here. So when you see that fine specimen that you can't wait to get your hands on, that look finger licking good, you just look at like, yo, when I catch you, like you don't even care about anything else. You just thinking like the minute that this goes down, it's going down. When you that energy right there can create kingdoms. With that
Yes.
energy, you can create entire nations. With that
Yes.
energy, you can get rid of beef. People you can make friends, you can make family members like that. Okay, because family members existed from that energy because nobody was family. Unless everybody's family, right? And how you want to look at it? Which way is it? Is everybody got their family or
Right.
is nobody family? So nobody's family if I don't know you and you don't know me and none of our people are connected, we're technically not family, right? But if we get together and we start having children and we start doing that, then we become a family, right? Now that energy,
Right.
that sexual energy unites. It brings things together. That's why you need the sexual energy because it brings together. That's the expansion. And that is the expansion. Can you imagine that expanding means bringing something together? That's the dopeness behind it. That's why Tantra is a trick word. It's a trick word meaning expansion, but the expansion is the bringing together or the unity. Straight fucking.
That's, you know what? That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. Tantra is expansion, and expansion is bringing together. It sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but it's not. Because, you know, when you think of something expanding, it's like going away from, but it's not really. Because it can still be connected within the expansion itself. It's just capturing more of, you know, opening up, right? And the opening up doesn't have to be separated. It can be linked. But you're expanding with this energy or the same vibe, the same vibration. So you're opening up. Manage, that's a good one. But see, when you're expanding, you're not managing, you're free. It's a freedom to the energy that's producing or promoting the expansion. There's a freedom behind lust. Because remember, we talked about recklessness, right? With lust, if you're not careful, and recklessness with love, if it's on the surface. So if you're meeting this person and you feeling good and y'all feeling good and you want to get together, you see them, when I see you, boy, and you know, I just said you can create kingdoms from this expansion. You're not managing anything. You're at your moment of being free and you're expressing all parts of yourself, which goes to the God self, which goes back to the zero, remember, and the tarot, the fool. It goes back to the fool. When you don't care, you just connected and you feeling good and you, man, y'all, you seeing this person and y'all, and you like, man, ooh, when I see you, when I see you, just, man, I can't wait to get my hands on you. You know, that's like two flames, you know, fire is making the water boil, right? That's in the woman, the male fire making the water boil. And then you expand because you know that we expand, you know, when the water starts to boil, there's expansion within that. That's some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You expanding. And you can create kingdoms of whatever you want to create, kingdoms of wealth, kingdoms of prosperity, kingdoms of joy. You can even create kingdoms of pain if you want to.
Now,
so listen, y'all been rolling with us for 2 hours. That's what's up.
2 hours. It seemed like 2 hours too. Now listen. It's a good 2 hours. That's a good 2 hours. But look, I mean, you got me thinking about something now. We talking about actual DNA codes and DNA strands being created from sexual activity, right? So there's a natural energy lock of connectivity that takes place, right? So if you the freedom that's involved in lust, remember, love is tricky. Love has all these damn rules. Love says don't do it this way. Love says do it just like this. Love says don't do it then. Make sure you do it now. Love says, hey man, you're supposed to do it like this. Love gets you get in a fight over some love. Love is tricky. Now, lust, on the other hand, it has a freedom to it. Lust denies the rules. Lust
Which
don't
is
care
the
about
fool. Which is the fool in the tarot.
That's the fool in the tarot. The
Yes.
lust card is that
Mhm.
creative life force. But the navigation of lust is where the trickiness comes in at, because there are no rules. You are the now ruler. That's why if you're a lustful person, you have to be careful how you move, because you're the only one that can control that. Love, everybody else can control your love. You don't, if you love me, you'll do this. If you love me, you wouldn't do that. Well, you see what I'm saying? People put all these stipulations on you based on what they perceive love to be. All right. So you're not lust, on the other hand, it doesn't have that problem. Lust doesn't care. Lust says, yo, I am. Lust says me, I. Check this out. I, you. Lust says, I want you. That's what lust does. Lust connects the I and I. It connects the two to one. Lust takes the individual that is all about the self and connects it to the one, making those two expand into oneness.
So why can't we just have a lust ship? We have a lust ship. That'll be the dopest relationship, a lust ship. Let's just have a lust ship.
I mean, you know what? The navigation of that actually works. You know what I'm
Some
saying?
people do, Sarah Phoenix. You're right. I'm sorry, Noah.
No, you're right.
Some people do have a lust ship, but I'm saying the ship part of it, meaning it's not a ship though. They're not together. It's not together. There's no cohesive. You're just doing what you want to do. Let's have a lust ship. Friends with benefits.
But you got it. The tricky part comes in at, because you have people who want to transfer energy with all kinds of different types of people. Right?
Somebody said Young the Lust Boat. The lust ship.
The young
So
boat.
That's funny. So look, this is some good stuff, Y'all have some homework. Tantric Tuesdays is going to be every week. Get you some.
No, not like that. Not like that. Listen, first of all, before you just go do that, you have to. I mean, the object is, it's not easy. It's not hard to go get you some. I mean, you can just go get some. I mean,
Right,
it's
okay.
springtime. It's springtime, but
okay. He giving you the second part of the homework.
Okay.
Because we agree that. No, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, if you want to set it up. I'll clean it up. Go ahead. You set it up, I'll clean it up.
No, yes, sir. The second part of get you some.
You get you some. Now listen, what you do is you set it up, right, to the point to where this energy that you're looking at is something of higher quality than what you've dealt with before. It's something that actually can benefit you, that you can benefit. See, because most of your benefits going to come from you improving the other person, right? Most of the benefit comes from you helping other people, right? When you give money away, you get more money. When you be like, nah, I ain't got it, then you be right. You really don't have it. You end up broke, right? But when you give money or when you help people, when you do stuff out of your kindness of your heart, right? When you feel like, you have to do it because you want to do it, right? You can't, I don't know who you're trying to trick. You try to do this to, you know what? I gave away $100 last week. I should be getting back at least 200, 250. It don't work like that. You can't measure what you're going to get back. You have to give it from the heart. You have to be like, okay, you have a measurement. Okay, this is what I want. I can, you need this. I'm gonna hook you up. You hook that up. You know what I'm saying? That energy, that's the giving back energy, right? You give something, you get something back. Now, on the other hand, when you give energy, dealing with love and lust, when you're giving the energy, either you're receiving or you're giving. So if you're in the lustful situation, somebody is dominant with the lust. Now you maybe have been ignited. Maybe you like them too, but if they come at you, right, one person is going to be dominant on the lust factor. Same thing with the love. Somebody going to have more of it than the other until it balances out, right? Somebody going to have more. That's going to be the person who's going to always be like, yo, I mean, what you doing? As soon as you see them, they jumping on you, right? They have a strong, and they don't care about nothing else, just lust. Then you have the other ones who deal strictly with love. That person will take everything from you. Doesn't matter what you do to them. They'll let you treat them all kinds. See, this is what love does. You see the trickiness in love? Love will let you take the other person and put them first. Lust doesn't do that. Lust puts yourself first. And so that's how you want to mix those two together and blend them together. When you do that, you have a gift, because then you get your power. Your power is to give away. And when you give away, the other person is doing the same thing. They're giving away not all the power. They're giving away their attention. Their lust is coming directly to you. You're giving yours to them. They're giving yours to you. Now, guess what's happening? It's a mirror image. It's like a mirror hallway. It's like a mirror hallway. It's going straight down the line, just like that. You know what I'm saying? Instead, most of the time, you got people getting in relationships, that energy going that way, that energy going that way. This should be all jagged edge going all kind of different directions. Ain't no eye to eye. It's not meeting anywhere right here. And the only way that's going to happen is when you have balance between those.
Okay, so that's a good part, of the homework exercise, is to make sure that there's an equal amount of energy that's being exchanged. That's key. So that's the homework. Okay.
Also. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's good enough. Leave it simple. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay, look, man, I know y'all kind of deep, so I'm gonna just say it, man. Like, there are certain associations that you have through sexual activity, right? So, like, understand that the different relationship between, the different chakra points and the different positions, and understand, and you can basically, you can find out by taking the sex magic class, but in the meantime, you can figure it out. Certain positions are going to make you act a certain way, right? Certain other positions are going to make you act another way, or they're going to make sure that you don't act a certain way, right? If you're expecting the position to be a certain thing and it's not like that, that's going to make you act a certain way. So you can tell what everything is connected to your chakra points. That's your core. So these chakra centers, sexual energy, that's why the sexual energy is the core of life force essence, because the sexual energy is wrapped up in the chakra.
Chari. Yes, Chari. So get some equally. And make sure you're experiencing all the positions to tap into each chakra. So you got your throat chakra. Woo! You got your root. You got your sacral. Talk to me now.
Hey, come on now.
Make sure each chakra is getting tapped. Okay.
And you got them hand chakras.
Right. You got them hand chakras them chakras on the shoulders. You know, what can you do with the
chakras popping off.
Them
you
hip
chakras above your head. Yo, you got centers all over you.
You got hip chakras, right? You know, make sure you using all them chakras. You know, go find out how many we got, and make sure you tapping into a position for all of them. Be a receiver and be a giver, and put the leg this way and put the other leg that way, and use the hand and use all parts to get to each chakra. You know, there's a way to get to the throat. There's a way. So that's some good homework.
Yo, she keep it raw, boy. Look, man, go ahead. Go ahead, y'all.
So look, thank y'all for rolling with us. Woo! Y'all rolling. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. We have to do this again. The next time y'all come in here, be free, be mighty, be proud. You know, if if you blocked, I felt some blockages, you know, some blocks. We had to get things rolling. It took 2 hours plus, but you know, I'm giving y'all some sugar.
You know, I'm sorry, man. I gotta hit this point, man. You know, Yamuda, she said something very, very on point. Some sex positions are controlling the mind, and some control the way you act when you're around other people, and that's a good point. That's a good point. You know, because you know, when it's controlling the mind, that's how you act. You know, to your spouse. Right, the stuff you have in your mind is gonna bleed out into your spouse. That spouse is like your other side. Everything bad is they're like your filter. They're gonna catch all of it. It may take a little time or whatever. You may not say it directly. You may wait or whatever. It's gonna come out though because you're intimate with that person. They're gonna get it. So you know, and the other people, some sex positions, the way you act around other people, that's definite. Like, doggy style. That's gonna make make the woman act very submissive around them other people to the man. Bringing him drinks and
making breakfast and dinner.
Yeah, and people coming over and she like, you know, hospitable. Real, like, you know, last time you came through, she didn't even ask if you was thirsty. This time she done took your coat at the door, you know, brought you something, offered so she cook some food, you know, asked what kind of music y'all want to listen to.
I cannot. Well, you know what? I think that's the theory. You know, that's just my opinion, you know. Because sometimes when things happen to him, you know, or her, you know, you start contemplating things that you haven't been contemplating, you know. So you start wanting to pick up and move. Okay, so listen, just know that this sexual energy is very powerful and it's good. You know, everybody doesn't have a spouse, you know, or a significant other, you know. Just look in the mirror and talk to yourself.
No, but you're going to have to do some more than talking now, all right? You're going to have to do more than talking. All that talk is, you know, listen, they say time is money and talk is cheap. So that's an equation you can figure out with this homework assignment. Time is money, talk is cheap. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go to the next person because you have single cultivation, which is much more important by itself. You have to be able to cultivate yourself by yourself, right? Before you give yourself to another. See, that's the problem. You know, half of y'all taking all this extra energy to yourself and you don't really understand what you're doing with yourself first. So you can't take somebody else's energy. You need to control your own energy and balance your own energy out. So with this homework, you're going to decide whether you one of those ones that can go ahead and get it, or you need to be at the house and be on your pivot. I don't know, but you need to figure it out. Either way, the sexual energy this time of year, especially right now, this particular, this next little transition that's coming up right now, from now on, this is peak season of the year. Peak. This energy's out. This is where the cheese gonna start skeeting and busted everywhere. You're gonna see people's cars covered in all this. People sneezing. You like, damn, what's wrong with you? Where you live by some tree? You live in the forest?
Well, tree skeet. Take advantage of this season. Take advantage of it and just tap into all them chakras. Tap into them. Tap.
Capture that energy. Capture it. For real. Keep it.
Capture it, and it'll keep coming back to you when you need it. Okay? It'll keep coming back. This is Tantric Tuesdays. Coming to you live. Coming to you live from the Alchemy Temple.
The trees. Now listen, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this last point. And then I'm out of here. All right. This is the last thing. I know we're trying to end the broadcast. I'm going to make this last point. All right. So the trees are literally skiing on you. When you have this tree pollen, that's what's happening. The trees, it's only certain trees that are doing it. Okay. So ask yourself, what is tree pollen? What is it? I mean, what's happening when the trees, scientifically, what's happening when you have all that tree pollen and the wind blowing and everything, right? You have to understand that the plants and animals, they're going to survive no matter what. And the elements, they be sexing each other. You have, the wind and the water be mixing up with that rock and that earth. You know what I'm saying? That fire get to building and making up new substances. And they be in there and you had that thing going. Listen, when you had a lot of those storms coming, when the storm is there, those elements be sexing each other. So the tree, and see, that's what's happening. This is a creative process. All right. This is not about the process where she said treat. Tree ski treat. That's funny. Yo, it's not about anything other than the creative process. See, because on the physical, in the 3D realm, you stuck on putting it on a dick and pussy. All right. I'm just gonna say what it is, right? You stuck on that. So it's a physical thing in the physical realm. But actually, in all actuality, the creative process exists in the eye contact. It exists in the lustful thoughts in the mind. That's a part of the creation, because if the energy of the other person accepts you, you've already started the foreplay because you've already been thinking about them and processing. So the creative process starts way before you actually start having sex with somebody. You know what I mean? So that whole process is something that eliminates just the physical needs. So the trees themselves, when the trees are, the wind's blowing and they're ejaculating that pollen out into the wind, and the wind is helping and carrying it. This is another form. It was like an orgy, basically, between the trees, the wind, and you. because the wind comes and carries the skeet across so that it reaches you and it covers your whole car. You see now, you see the car, the street, everything covered. It's just covered. And I want you to think about that, because that's the life force essence and these are the same beings, these trees, these same beings that you inhale, exhale from, that cause you life. So they're doing it from both realms. They're doing it from the realm of the aspect of premortal essence, and which is the actual sperm form. That's why the sperm form and the actual ovum of the egg looks the same of the baby, right? And then you have the actual physical form where you have the literal pollen, and that's where you call yourself allergic. Same thing goes with a cat. You have a person that's allergic to cats. Like, I'm allergic to cats. I'm allergic to certain cats, though. I'm not allergic to every cat. Certain cats. The cats that have spirit inside of them usually don't bother me. If it's just a cat, a regular cat, I'm gonna be sneezing and everything. But if that cat is a familiar and there's a spirit, it doesn't bother me. And that's the same thing it goes with the pollen. Like, I noticed that usually people who have high allergies, at least from what I've seen, the people who have high allergy counts with pollen, they're not doing certain spiritual practices. Usually, number one, they're not having sex. That's number one. Number two, their personality is dry. They're not laughing very much. They don't have no damn laughter in their life. They dry as hell, boring as hell. They don't ever laugh. That tree get the skeeting, they the first one get the sneezing. Everybody else be normal. Okay? Because those are the people that's having sex. Those are the people who are laughing and playing. Nature is an agreement. They are part of the orgy. They're part of the natural copulation design. We are not separated from the animals and the trees, but we are part of a natural organism called life. We are part of a life force. And we are connected to everything. We're connected to everything. There is no separation at all. You're even connected to the space that's between you and me. You're connected to that. You exist in everything. Your perception, if you have still shrunken your awareness, if you have a shrunken awareness, your perception is bound to your physical body. And that's where lust in the operation of on the surface comes from. All right, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. I know we're trying to close the broadcast. Right now we at 2:29 or somewhere around that point right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and let the
well, thank you.
Man, I'm sorry. She said the allergy brings baby. Now that's something dope too. I have to say that. Okay, so the tree skeet, right? It gets you pregnant, and you have pregnant symptoms, which you call allergy. And what happens after that? You start to have all the pregnant symptoms of what are you giving birth to? And it's usually something that is against your spiritual development. Right? I mean, look at it. Watch this year. Pay attention and see what happens.
All right, family. Let's thank Nuaso Maibe for being here and dropping these nuggets on Tantric Tuesday. Nuaso Maibe, the founder of Alchemy Temple, as a special guest for Tantric Tuesday, coming to you from the Alchemy Temple. We thank you, Nua. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the science. Thank you for bridging it together and giving us understanding. And we're going to take this knowledge and embrace it and apply it where we can. Okay? So we thank you again, family. Thank you for joining us for the Cypher. We appreciate you rolling with us. Tantric Tuesdays coming to you from the Alchemy Temple with your hostess, Goddess Jamila. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. It's been real. You know, if you want to find out some information, just hit us up, alchemytemple.org. Let us know what you want to talk about. hit me up in my messenger, you know, hit me up. Let us know. If you need a reading from Nuaso Maibe, alchemytemple.org. If you need esoteric tools or a reading from myself, alchemytemple.org. You know, you can reach me and I can read you through alchemytemple.org. Okay? If you need esoteric tools, classes, alchemytemple.org. We have all of your needs. Alchemy, emotion, alchemy for the soul, alchemy, time, space, and opportunity. We have it for you at Alchemy Temple. Thank you again. If you need me, just look to the cosmos and say my name, and I might just say, what up, though? Okay? It's been live. It's been real. Peace and love to you all, gods and goddesses. And remember to enjoy your night and apply that homework. Peace.